Hi everyone, welcome back to this week Weekly Market Update. Firstly, would like to apologize on last week's video. I think there's some issue with the sound system. So we have already taken note on this week. Hopefully this video doesn't have that issue again. Let's go into the market so to watch out what is happening on last week. Especially it seems like a very bullish week. The market has been going upwards, penetrating all the resistance, and especially when even for the interest rate remain the same, there's no rate hike for last announcement, but Powell did mention that for the coming years there will be another 2 hike projected forward. So we will see based on the economy data to determine from there itself. Pause of a rate hike is definitely a good thing because you will not give any more pressure to the market, to the common folks out there, right, on their spending or their their dollar value. But definitely the inflation rate will be have to monitor closely. Hopefully it will not continue to go even higher. So let's take a look on what happened on last week. Firstly, last week I did mention NASDAQ is sideways. The key level is at 61.8% FIBO. I think this level has way penetrated and we are looking to the next resistance level in the Fibonacci. Alright, so let's take a look at the charting itself. Let's take a look at the news for last Friday itself. So you can see S&P 500 break 6-day win streak on Friday, and the best since the March itself. Alright, so here are some minor major market milestone on the week itself. So as you can read on from CNBC, but just want to take note of a few things which I mentioned. So the Fed rate left the Federal Reserve left the rate unchanged, and also the main consumer price index came in the lowest in 2 years. All right. So another thing is good news for the company itself is like Adobe and Microsoft. They hit a record on their earnings report. Subsequently, do take note on the coming Monday, there won't be any market. It's a long weekend. The market is closed on observations. Alright, so it's a 4-day week. That's why I'm not going to go too much in depth, and especially right now, market is at all-time high. Not all-time high, I mean a weekly high, or have been beating since March, since how many months ago. So if you would like to add on some shares into your watch list or into your portfolio, you might be buying at the slightly higher side, especially for the tech mostly has been fly higher. So that's why we got to be a more conservative when the market is actually at a greedy mood, right? Which I mentioned last week in my telegram. Market is right now at a greedy zone. All right, when you got to be fearful when the market is greedy. All right, so that's why I didn't want to have much more positions, even though there are some of the counter which I see is pretty good in terms of TA perspective, in terms of some basic fundamental perspective, but risk management is also one of the key points to take away, right? So let's take a look at some of the counter for this week. So as I mentioned, NASDAQ. All right, let's take a look at the chart itself. Okay, so this is what happened on NASDAQ on the weekly chart. Okay, let's zoom in. So on the weekly chart itself, we can see that on 27 May, Fibonacci 61.8%. This is what I'm looking at, right? I say that it may go higher previously to hit 61.8%. Eventually it went higher, but there is no this red color bearish sign. It's like a false, it's like a breakdown signal. Alright, it's just been a resisted signal, but subsequently following another 2 days, it break higher. Alright, it break higher. This is not a very good sign after all already. Alright, so if let's say you have shorted, which is like me, I have shorted, I have actually cut loss. Alright, I have cut loss. Don't be fearful. Accept and admit your mistake, because no one is perfect. I mean, no one knows what is happening. Correct? I have no crystal ball. I just been disciplined. Whether I should long or short based on the TA that tell me the story. Alright, so I did cut, and I'm looking for the next resistance level, which is the 78.6%. 1 second. Okay, so this 78.6%, which is for around 15,400. But before it come to the level, there's one level which I want to bring to your attention, is at 15,300. Why is this level? Firstly, is because it's actually the previous resistance, which we see over here. as you can see that. All right, so therefore this is the resistance. I think a lot of people is watching at it, but and then is, you know, reaches near to it. The last Friday the high is 15,284, and then it, you know, recover back. This might be due to profit taking, but ultimately it's still the uptrend, right? So I will then take a very precautions at this level, all right, at this level, to make sure that uh this is a level which I'm watching between the 78.6%, which is the 15,400 or 500, all right, 15,500 or 15,300, in between this level, to see how strong is NASDAQ is going to be. Will there be a very fierceful penetration? If yes, market might then return back to the all-time high once again. But that is very funny if you question yourself. Firstly, why interest rate compared to this level and compared to the level that we had previously, all right, the interest rate compared to this level, which is totally different. All right, this is the part where the rate is continue high. All right, the market drop. This is the part where the rate continue high, and then they just first stop increasing the rate, but projection another 2 rate. If this is going to high again, yes, stock market always perform, you know, one step ahead, right? So the whole market is right now thinking that this interest rate is gonna be over soon. All right, and market is very optimistic. That's why but to me, I feel a bit fearful. I might be wrong. All right, so if let's say I hold some shares, which I did, I will continue to hold until I see a huge correction come in. Otherwise, I will just play by the book or by the TA that tell me the story. Okay, so this is why I've been cautious for the past 1 or 2 weeks. And I'm on the bearish side. Mainly is because it's run for kind of like consecutive runs. As I see, this is quite a steep uptrend. And also, not only on that, if you go into the VIX itself, right, we can see the VIX way bottom, all right, it's way bottom. Okay, as I see, this is the $15 mark, all right, $15 support, and then we go to the $12 support. Okay, so right now the price is actually at 1 second. The price is actually at the 13 plus. Okay, so this is what I'm fearful about. The VIX is going lower, the market is going higher, which is correct. All right, because it should work inverse correlated, right? But when you go even lower and lower, means to say the grid is getting stronger and stronger. So once it snaps, remember to have your stop loss there if you are chasing in this up bull trend. Okay, next thing, just want to share a couple of call which I have it. If you have been following me, you should know C3 is one of my darling. So I did mention previously in 4th of June, around here, I say that we may see more downside, where it's supported by 24 to 27. This is where the price I wish to average in once again. All right, when it hit 42, this is all right. When it hit 42, if you have been following, you should read all this many times. All right. My first target is actually IPO price 42, but this is the resisted area which I draw many months ago. All right. So if you have hit 42, you think is, you know, enough for you, you have took the profit, by all means. It's always nothing wrong to take profit early, but to me, I think the AI is the trend, right? Like I mentioned since 12 Feb when ChatGPT launched. Although this company might not related to AI, but AI may be the trend going forward. So therefore, if you have buy into this counter, if you have partial profit at IPO price 42, or you did not take profit, then congratulations, the price went even higher to the resistance level. All right, will it go even higher in the coming months, or, you know, in the coming forward, where we are looking from the weekly chart perspective of the candlestick? I can say that it's kind of like strong. There is no sign of slowing down. There's no red candle. Market closed on the weekly candle, which is with a good decent volume. I think penetration of $52 is possible. All right, penetration of $52 is possible. So I could just write here, 17th of June, then break above 52 is possible with current decent volume and good candlestick signal. All right, so this is the weekly chart. So I think that might be possible that you'll break above All right. So where will we be looking at? If let's say go even higher, we can actually look. Of course, if let's say you break higher, if you think it's enough for you, please take profit along the way. If you want to ride all the way, it will not be one day or this whole market will be just all the way high, unless it's depend on how bullish on this AI trend is going to last you. All right. Otherwise, I think 70 will be a decent next level for we all to watch out on. Okay. So I could just take TP 70. Okay. So this is provided the whole market is doing good on AI and it can consecutively bring good result coming on. Otherwise, there will be profit taking along the way. Don't be alarmed if let's say there's some drop. Okay. So for C3AI, if you have invested since the day which I mentioned, all right. So as you can see, the diluted cost is 25. Up to now is 76% to 44. All right. It can be reached 100%. All right, based on last Friday closing. So I mentioned there's a few price you can get: 22, 20, 18, 15. All right. So if you get in between partially, if you're at or if you're bought at the bottom, which is 20 or whichever, your P&L will be way higher. Okay, so this is one of the position that I'm holding as well. Next counter, we'll be looking into just some sharing. Of course, we'll see what's to take note of the coming week as well. JD, I think I mentioned in the public group. All right, I think I mentioned in the public group previously, 6 May. This is the private group. Got stopped out. Then we join in again, but then I think I bring into the public group to let everyone go into it. So we are looking at long term for JD at a point of time on 27 May, which is around this area, all right, this bottom candlestick. So I believe Hong Kong is overly sold. There is chance for Hong Kong to come back. As you can see that China, everyone is increasing the rate, but China's have reduced their rate, so they go inverse another way, right? So I think money will shift there after all. And indeed, Hang Seng went higher, China A50 went higher, all the Chinese related shares go higher. All right, so we have certain level to do dollar cost averaging. If you have joined me in the JD, you should be enjoying profit as well. So for JD wise, I've bought around here 33 plus, and then right now based on current market price 39.85, I'm holding it with 20% profit, and I foresee more upside for JD itself. All right, so I'm looking at around 40 to 50 level, which is just nice in place with T50 moving average as a resistance. All right, hopefully it can cover the gap, but I will just put 50 as a whole figure number, right? So let's take a look. 17 June JD TP will be, or we put resistance level, right? Resistance around 50. Okay, resisted by 50 moving average. Okay, so this is what we are looking at for JD itself. Okay, so this is dollar averaging. I mean, if the price drop, I will just continue accumulate. But since there is no drop, I will just move it up, move it from here. Okay, so yes, from right now 40 to 50, a bit ambitious, but I think with the market condition on the Hong Kong side, it is possible to see this kind of returns or the resistance at that level. Just nice, as you can see, it used to be a resistance level as well. So I'm looking at JD at $50, the next resistance level. All right, next we will be looking into HSI, Hang Seng Index, as we mentioned last week, 4th of June, all right, or 2 weeks ago. I say this is a false breakdown, right? Because it came down, but it closed above the 50% Fibonacci level, 18,700. The market continued to surge higher. All right, so where are we looking at? Right now, I'm looking for it to go to the next resistance level, which is the 21,000 level. Okay, so this is all the record that I just put in to make myself more disciplined when I'm doing some tradings. All right, so next resistance will be the 78.6%, around 21,000. All right, so this is what we will be looking after the penetrations. So will there be any take profit along the way? Definitely there will be, but this is a good sign of first penetration. if it drop back below this descending support level, descending resistance level, if it drop back close below the 50% Fibo, not a good news then. All right, not a good news. It should be have some come back and go up. All right, so if we recover back to the 61.8%, around 19,500, it's decent. I mean, it's a good chance for you to accumulate if you believe in Hong Kong or Chinese government. All right, I understand that although sometimes the statistic will not be that accurate, but they did mention they reduced the rate instead. Okay, so this is why I'm looking for Hong Kong itself. So next we will be looking into the next counter will be, anyone remember this counter? KRE. If you have been following me closely, you should be holding this counter by now. All right, because since 25th March, since the Silicon Valley Bank, all the drama, all the saga happens, I did mention it's a good to slowly accumulate this counter, this ETF as a long-term holding in your pocket. All right. So I given 3 price level. 3 first bullet is 40, 39. Second bullet at 35. Last bullet at 27. So if you have been following me closely, you should be into riding on this counter as well. And then you should be right now. Let me reset the chart. 32 weekly chart. Okay. All right. So it's much more clearer as you can see. Oops. What is this? Okay, so as you can see, so if you have managed to enter based on this bullet point, you should have averaging right now, and then the price should be in the green zone right now. Don't be fearful if you have entered at the first bullet 39, 40 or somewhere above, and you think the market is dropping, you're worried because your portfolio go red. Don't be alarmed. All right, this, like I said, is a long-term ride that, unless you do not believe in the banking system in this world right now. So no matter what, banking system will still be there, and that is why when we look back to our KRE, we have different portfolios. Some people is actually have a profit of 1.4% because they entered at the 42 price. Some people actually entered at the second bullet zone, which at 35, and then right now they are riding 23%. So irregardless which level you enter, it's a dollar cost averaging along the way. If the market has been dropping, you can do it by monthly saving, monthly accumulations, and we shall see the green in the long-term perspective for these shares. All right, for this ETF. So if you have not joined us, you are not too late. The price for KRE is still at 43. We are definitely looking for it to return back to 38% or at least 50%, around $50+. So you can slowly accumulate away. Of course, don't throw everything at this current price, because if it go lower, you can't average in. It's like a not at a good advantage for yourself. All right, so you do the risk management yourself, you do the own call, plan yourself wisely. Next counter we will be looking at is, all right, this is a very, very long counter. I just sold recently. That's why I bring it up. It's a good run for at least 1 year. I've mentioned it since 6th of August. Next resistance, where is it? 54, and then it dropped back. But I believe in this counter, Shopify, so I continue to hold this position. When I see on 15 Jan, I continue to hold on to it. And since last week, I closed it off with a 76.65% profit in percentage. I think it's a good run. Yes, in chart perspective, it may continue to hike even higher. All right, it may have chance to come back to here. 77, I may continue to ride it. But it's up to you whether are you contented or not. Alright, I think 70+% is a good decent value. I have sold it and I rotate it into another shares which I'm looking at long-term perspective. Better FA. For that, I can't share right now. I have bought into it. Hopefully, when it comes to the higher level, then I will share with you guys, because I intend to keep that good counter to my private group instead. Alright, so for public group, this I did mention in the public group. If you have joined me, you should be in this level right now. Hopefully you did not buy above, or if let's say you bought way previously, remember to average by listening to my video or listening to my call. Thank God you save yourself as well. Alright, next counter, we will be looking into GFAI. This is what I mentioned. We can actually use some small money to gamble, or to nipper around. Do not because this is a very risky counter, which I mentioned, right? We actually have someone who took it. I missed it, which I mentioned. So actually, when he come back and I look at the whole AI, it seems like it's still there, but the company compared to C3 is slightly different, all right? And that is why this is a super risky counter, because super small cap, easy being manipulated, and that is what I did join in, but I joined with a smaller sum lah. All right, and where am I stand? Of course, it's at the down right now. But is it painful to me with this 6%, 2%? Of course not. Why? Because, like I said, I can be 6% or 20% here. All right, I can be a few percent, 20% here. But the value itself is different. What do I mean by that? Is how much you invest. Maybe for JD, I invest 50,000 value into JD, but for GFAI, I invested only 5,000. All right, so you can see the percentage is not the absolute value. All right, so don't be fooled. But what I'm trying to say is that right now I am the downside for this counter. If it go even lower, I will just cut it off. Do I feel the pain? No, because the reward is definitely greater than the risk itself for this counter, and that is why I have long into it. All right, you can see sometimes there is different photos, different percentage, because some is not totally from me. It's actually some is from my clients, from my students. You know, it's from my families. They also join in. Some would like to write together, and then I just ask them to share the photo with me as well. So, but I did. All right, I did join in into this counter as well. Okay, so this is one of the counter which I mentioned. All right, so for coming weeks, what can we take note of? Firstly, if let's say you are, playing the Singapore market, which is a small market, you should know what is happening to SIA. SIA flew, all right, fly just like the air flight itself to $7, which is almost $8. And then on last Friday, I think profit taking is very strong. I would not advise when the market, after shooting up so high, breaking all the Bollinger's indicator, whichever, and then you go into it, all right, because you are actually buying after the market hype how 30, 40, 50%. So you're buying at a premium right now. I would advise, even though it may have chance to go even higher. We never change the market, right? That is one of the rules that I set for myself. But I'm looking into subsidiary related company, which is set right now. We can see this is I used to see, right, and it recovered back after a lot of events from this one, like merging MAA, like some corporate actions going through, and then it go to the bottom F2 plus. If you are still holding and biting on it, the market back to 274 last Friday closing on the weekly chart. So on the daily chart, you can see it's very bullish with a very strong volume coming in. So coming weeks, we may see penetration above $2.80. We may see it recover back to $3. The whole economy is like picking up, right? Especially for the tourism side. So I think for SET, no issue for it to go or penetrate above. So let's take a look. 17 June, resistance $3. So we buyers upside. Okay, so I just do a simple note to inform myself, and then we can review back. Okay, so this one finish, this one will be here. Okay, so this is for SET itself. Let me delete all this. Okay, so this is previously, right now this is the latest one. Okay, so this is one counter. If you are into Singapore counter, you can actually watch out for and then look out for it as well. Okay, next counter we'll be looking into will be, let me take a look, will be BABA. Alright, so like I mentioned on the Chinese shares itself, so BABA will be slightly weak. Not that strong compared to JD, compared to Pink Toto, but ultimately, if let's say you still like this counter, or you have been entering since very long ago, right, you should do your dollar coin averaging by now. So let's remove all this which I draw months ago. Alright, so we can see that it has been hovering sideways. Will that be any penetration? To me, I am biased on it with the whole economy going up for the Chinese side, for the Chinese stock, right? So I will then, oops, where is my arrow? Okay, I will then mark it up to here. Okay, so will it go up? Yes, will it go up? I did So am I holding these shares? Yes, I did. I just did show you the percentage. At what price did I bought? I bought at 70 plus. All right. So to me, I can average in, which is a perfect one. I dollar cost averaging. All right. I continue to buy higher. So first target $100, not an issue. Okay, first target $100, not an issue. This is what I feel. So let me delete some of the line to make it more clear. Okay, so if we shall see, if let's say you are short term, you can put 77 as your support level. Okay, so if you want to write it, the first level is 100 followed by 110. Okay, so this is what we are looking at. But of course, like I said, if let's say you drop below this 77, what will I do? I will accumulate, because like I said, it's a long-term basis. It's up to you. I bought at 70. I don't see it will go there anytime soon, right at the moment, with the current hype in Hong Kong. So I feel a bit safer at this point of time, and that is why I'm going to write. Oops. Today is 17 June. So resistance 100/110. Buyer's upside. Okay, so this is what I'm looking on. Of course, remember to watch out on your portfolio, because if let's say we do not want to too focus into one sector, meaning to say you don't want all your shares to be Chinese related ADR shares, correct? You don't want to have Baba Tech, Tencent Tech, Ping Tuo Tech, JD Tech, a Baidu Tech, this kind of thing. Then must well you go to the ETF itself, correct? So if let's say you wish to select one or two counter, or you do not have anyone, you want to add one or two ADR, Chinese ADR into your portfolio, then by all means, all right. Otherwise, do remember to watch out what is in your pocket right now. Okay, so that's all for this week mini market update. All right, so I think a bit slightly longer. I hope to share with you guys more, but like I said, next week is only 4 trading days. All right, Monday is closed unless you want to go into the Singapore counter, which I mentioned just now. All right, for subsequently on July itself, the video will not be that much. Basically, I'm actually away from holiday. All right, so I don't have my equipment to do it, but I will update into Telegram group. So remember to follow in my Telegram group as well. If you didn't, share and like on this video if you learned something, or if you profit like me along the way. Let's grow together. All right, thank you everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Goodbye.